You know his face. You've seen him on red carpets, in legendary films, and on stages holding golden statues. Leonardo DiCaprio, one of the most famous actors in the world. But behind that fame is a story few truly know. A story of struggle, rejection, and quiet persistence. A boy raised in a broken home, surrounded by danger and chaos. A young actor who was told he wasn't good-looking enough, wasn't leading man material, wasn't what Hollywood wanted. He didn't rise by luck, he rose by grit, by turning down easy roles and chasing characters with depth, by choosing art over attention. This is not just a story of stardom, it's a story of what it takes to stay true to yourself when the whole world is watching. This is Leonardo DiCaprio, from struggle to stardom. Let's begin. Leonardo Wilhelm DiCaprio was born on November 11, 1974, in Los Angeles, California. But don't let the city fool you. His early life was anything but glamorous. His parents, George DiCaprio and Ermeline Indenbergen, split up when Leo was just a baby. Raised mostly by his mother, a legal secretary who worked multiple jobs, Leo grew up in a rough neighborhood called Echo Park. The streets around him were filled with crime, drugs, and danger. In interviews, DiCaprio has spoken candidly about witnessing violence, drug use, and poverty from a young age. He once said, "I got to see the underbelly of the world at a very young age, but there was another side to his upbringing." His father, George, was a comic book artist and distributor surrounded by creative minds, offbeat thinkers, and storytellers. That strange, colorful world exposed Leo to art, imagination, and freedom of expression. Even as a child, Leo was different. He wasn't the quiet kid in the back of the class. He was loud, dramatic, always performing. His mother encouraged him. She believed in his spark even when others didn't. They didn't have money, but they had drive. Leo wanted to act, not for fame, not for fortune, but because it was the only thing that made sense to him. And so, before he was even a teenager, he was already auditioning, already chasing that impossible dream. And the road ahead, it wasn't easy. Before the world knew his name, Leonardo DiCaprio was just another kid showing up to auditions with big hopes and a growing list of rejections. He started with baby steps, literally. Leo's very first gig, a diaper commercial, when he was just 5 years old. But it didn't stick. After a few false starts, he took a break from acting. It wasn't until he was around 11 that he got serious again. His mother drove him to auditions all over Los Angeles, but casting agents didn't know what to do with him. Some said he was too energetic, too intense, not the TV kid type. One agent even told him to change his name to something more marketable, something less ethnic. He refused. He stayed Leonardo DiCaprio and he made them learn that name. Still, the work was slow and painful. Bit parts in commercials, guest spots in forgettable sitcoms, repeated rejections. He even landed a gig on a cheesy show called Parenthood in 1990, only for it to be cancelled after one season. But every failure taught him something. Every no made him sharper, hungrier. Then came Growing Pains, a popular family sitcom in the early 90s. DiCaprio played Luke Brower, a homeless teenager taken in by the Seaver family. It wasn't a huge role, but it gave him exposure and, finally, people started noticing. Yet even then, he didn't want to be a teen idol. He didn't want the fame. He wanted roles that meant something. That focus, that stubborn commitment to depth would soon change his career forever. Leonardo DiCaprio, still a teenager, landed a role opposite Robert De Niro in This Boy's Life, a brutal coming-of-age drama based on a true story. This wasn't a glossy teen role. It was raw, violent, emotional, and DiCaprio didn't just hold his own next to De Niro. He stunned audiences and critics alike. Hollywood took notice. This kid wasn't just another pretty face. He could act. But what came next was even more powerful. Later that same year, he starred in What's Eating Gilbert Grape, playing Arnie Johnny Depp's mentally challenged younger brother, a role so challenging that most adult actors wouldn't dare touch it. DiCaprio dove in with fearless intensity. He disappeared into the role, and the result? His first Academy Award nomination. Just 19 years old. Suddenly, he wasn't just a promising actor, he was a prodigy. But instead of chasing fame or taking blockbuster roles, he kept choosing stories that mattered to him. The Basketball Diaries, Total Eclipse, Titanic was still years away. He was carving out a career not based on popularity, but on precision. Each performance deeper than the last. Each role a new risk. Leonardo DiCaprio was no longer trying to get in the door. He was kicking it wide open. In 1997, Leonardo DiCaprio's life changed forever. Titanic hit theaters and the world lost its mind. The film became a global phenomenon, the highest-grossing movie of all time at the time, 11 Oscars, a cultural tidal wave, and right in the center of it all was Leo. He was just 22 years old. Overnight he became the face of a generation. Posters, magazine covers, screaming fans. The term Leomania was born, and it wasn't an exaggeration. To the world, he was Jack Dawson, the tragic romantic hero with the piercing eyes and effortless charm. But for DiCaprio, it was overwhelming. He had never wanted to be a heartthrob. He didn't chase celebrity, he chased characters, stories, substance. And suddenly, people only saw him as the guy from Titanic. Behind the flashing cameras and red carpets, there was a real fear. Would he ever be taken seriously again? Would Hollywood only cast him as the good-looking lead? Instead of leaning into the fame, DiCaprio pulled back. He avoided the spotlight, turned down dozens of big-budget formulaic scripts. He knew he had to rebuild on his own terms, and so, in the years following Titanic, he made a bold choice to walk away from the easy path, to become not a movie star but a real actor. What came next was the second and even more important act of his career. After Titanic, Leonardo DiCaprio could have coasted. He could have done rom-coms, franchise blockbusters, brand deals, but he didn't done single quotes to. Instead he went quiet and strategic. His next moves weren't just roles, they were statements. He teamed up with one of the greatest directors of all time, Martin Scorsese. Together they built one of the most iconic actor-director partnerships in modern cinema. First came Gangs of New York in 2002, then The Aviator, The Departed, Shutter Island, The Wolf of Wall Street. Each film stretched him, each role peeled back another layer. He wasn't playing safe. He was taking risks. Damaged men, flawed heroes, complex minds. He wasn't interested in being likable, he was interested in being real. And it wasn't just Scorsese. He worked with Christopher Nolan in Inception, Quentin Tarantino in Django Unchained, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Alejandro Iñárritu in The Revenant. He became known as a perfectionist, obsessive, relentless, focused. He would crawl through frozen rivers, eat raw bison liver, do take after take until it felt right. This was no longer about fame. It was about legacy. DiCaprio had transformed from teen idol into one of the greatest actors of his generation. And he did it the hard way. You'd think someone as famous as Leonardo DiCaprio would live like a king in plain sight. That's not his style. Sure, he owns luxurious homes. He's been spotted on private jets, yachts, at the world's biggest events. But unlike many of his celebrity peers, Leo doesn't flaunt it. He lives large, but he lives low. DiCaprio is known for being intensely private. He doesn't do interviews unless they matter. He doesn't chase the spotlight. He escapes it. His inner circle is tight. Longtime friends, fellow actors, no loud entourages, no daily tabloid drama. When he's not working, he disappears, diving, hiking, often off the grid. And when people do talk about his lifestyle, it's usually one of two things: his relationships or his yachts. He's famously dated high-profile women, but rarely talks about it. He's seen at glamorous events but never consumed by them. Underneath it all, DiCaprio stays grounded in a world that's anything but. He avoids social media, keeps his politics quiet but his principles loud, drives electric cars, builds sustainable homes, eats consciously. His luxury is balance. Fame never became who he was. It just became a tool, one he'd later use to fight for something far bigger than himself. For Leonardo DiCaprio, success was never just about scripts and screens. It was about impact. Long before it was trendy, Leo was raising his voice for the planet, climate change, wildlife preservation, ocean health, indigenous rights. These weren't side interests, they became part of his identity. In 1998, fresh off the Titanic wave, he founded the Leonardo DiCaprio Foundation. Its mission: to protect Earth's last wild places, fight climate change, and support sustainable solutions. Since then, it has funded over 200 projects in more than 50 countries. He didn't just write checks, he showed up, speaking at the United Nations, meeting with world leaders, producing powerful documentaries like Before the Flood, Ice on Fire. In 2014, he was named a UN Messenger of Peace for Climate. In 2016, when he finally won his Oscar, his acceptance speech wasn't about his career, it was about the planet. A warning, a call to action. Climate change is real. It is happening right now, he said. Let us not take this planet for granted. I do not take tonight for granted. And he meant it. He's invested millions of dollars into clean energy, reforestation, and conservation. He's helped save endangered species and protected vast sections of the Amazon. In a world of talkers, DiCaprio has quietly become a doer. Fame gave him a platform, He chose to use it not for vanity, but for the planet's survival. Asterisk for years, it became a running joke. Leonardo DiCaprio, the man who had it all except an Oscar despite countless legendary performances, the Academy kept passing him. For The Aviator, Blood Diamond, The Wolf of Wall Street. Critics praised him, audiences adored him, but the golden statue remained just out of reach. The internet had a field day, memes, jokes, countdown videos. It became a cultural obsession. When will Leo finally win? Then came The Revenant in 2015. A brutal, uncompromising performance. He fought freezing temperatures, crawled through snow, slept inside an animal carcass, ate raw bison liver. It wasn't acting, it was endurance. And the Academy finally took notice on 2016. After over 25 years in the industry, Leonardo DiCaprio won his first Oscar. The crowd rose to their feet, a standing ovation. A global moment, but Leo, he didn't bask in the glory. He didn't get personal, he got purposeful. His speech lasted just over 3 minutes, most of it focused on climate change, on injustice, on our collective responsibility. Let us not take this planet for granted, he said. I do not take tonight for granted. It wasn't a celebration, it was a statement. The Oscar was never his finish line, it was just another tool to do more, say more, fight harder. For Leonardo DiCaprio, greatness was never about the awards. It was about what you do with the spotlight once it's finally yours. Asterisk, most stars fade, they burn bright, then vanish, but Leonardo DiCaprio, he's still rising. He's no longer the kid fighting for a role. He's the man choosing which stories told and how. From Once Upon a Time in Hollywood to Killers of the Flower Moon. His roles continue to evolve, deeper, bolder, more meaningful. He doesn't chase relevance, he defines it. He's become a producer too, backing films and documentaries that speak truth, that push boundaries, that challenge minds. Because for Leo, storytelling isn't about attention, it's about impact, and off-screen his mission is just as focused. He's pledged millions to environmental causes, partnered with indigenous groups, used his influence to move world leaders toward action. In a world of noise, he's chosen substance. In a culture of ego, he's chosen purpose. And here's the truth, Leonardo DiCaprio's legacy isn't carved in stone yet. It's still being written in scripts, in speeches, in silent acts of activism most people will never see. He's proof that struggle can lead to strength, that fame can be used for something greater, that you can stay grounded even when the world calls you a star. So whether you remember him as Jack, Gatsby, Jordan Belfort, or Hugh Glass, know that Leonardo DiCaprio is more than any role he's played. He's a symbol of staying true, of rising above, of never ever settling. Asterisk, from the gritty streets of LA to the heights of global fame. Leonardo DiCaprio's story is more than just Hollywood legend. It's a reminder that greatness isn't given, it's earned through rejection, reinvention, and relentless focus. He became not just an actor, but an architect of legacy. And while the world watches his every move, he stays grounded in what matters: truth, art, and the planet we share. So the next time you see his name on a screen, remember the journey behind it, because Leonardo DiCaprio isn't just a movie star, he's a story, still in motion. Asterisk.